And that is the Darkness Door. And what we see as we look around is that the Darkness Door has been invaded by an invading force of Mayans who are looking for a powerful area to cast a powerful dark ritual. But there are other invaders as well. There are Vikings involved, teaming up with the native Wabanaki. I could tell you a lot about it, but I'm actually going to let old Joseph tell you a little bit about it himself.
The Norsemen came then upon our shores in longboats, and they brought with them a powerful sword. Together, the Wabanaki and the Vikings were to build a shield around this island that would keep it safe from our enemies, from those who wished to dig into the mountain and unleash the serpent.
So as you're in this trance-like state, you actually get to hear the voice of old Joseph filling in some of the gaps of the story as you see it through this trance-like vision. We're currently looking at one of the first encounters in the dungeon, but I'm actually going to skip ahead to where the rest of my team is at the very end. We're going to show you the very last fight in this entire dungeon. Just as a quick recap of the story itself, it's that the Mayans have invaded, and the Vikings and the Wabanaki are banding together to push them back. So, to get some perspective from up here, down below we see these Mayans worshipping at the edge of this extra-dimensional rift, this pit in front of them. They're performing some sort of strange ritual, and we certainly don't want them to complete it, so we're just going to run in and try to put a stop to it. See that as we fight these Mayans, their spirits are leaving their body, flying out towards the pit. You'll actually have seen this previously in the dungeon, where their spirits were flying towards a powerful creature and making it even more powerful. So we reuse mechanics and encounters fairly regularly, not to make it easier, but to give players a sense that they understand what's going on without having to fail and die, and then say, okay, well now that we've seen it, we know what's going on and we can do it. So even though that's not exactly the mechanic that's going to happen in this fight, these souls are definitely giving a little bit of foreshadowing of what might happen a little bit later. Finally, we've gotten rid of the last Mayan threat. But that's not all. As this massive beast from beyond flies out of the pit and begins attacking. This creature is called Wayad Zul, the Hound of the Nameless Days. He's this massive, ferocious beast. And on the dungeon team, we're always striving to give players an experience. We always want them to be feeling something when they're in our encounters. And specifically for this part of this encounter, we want players to feel a little bit out of their league. This creature is massive, it's dangerous, and has a number of powers that really create a sense of fear in the player. So, for example, he sprays out this huge. This is another great ability. He slams down, blurring everybody's vision, and swapping targets. That's a really big threat factor on the team. Really be careful about things like that. He's also spraying this tube everywhere, this filth on the ground. It's a really dangerous area. You really don't want to stand in. All of my friends here just got sucked in towards him, and he's going to use powerful magic to explode around him. Also very dangerous. Everybody in the group has to be really careful about that. So this is a period where the players should be saying to themselves, oh man, how are we going to make it? Fortunately, the Hound doesn't feel like he's making quite enough headway. So he goes to the edge of the pit, casts a powerful spell to summon some reinforcements. The Mayans from before. He leaves us to deal with the crowd that he's left behind. Now, previously, we only had small groups of Mayans at once, and now we're getting 7 to 8 Mayans at a time, and that's a big challenge, far more difficult than our previous builds. as you can see. So, this part of the encounter is pretty intense. We're about to get a little help of our own. This is the Varangian, and he's the Viking leader. And he's come bearing the powerful sword that old Joseph was talking about earlier. And that sword is Excalibur. He's using it to power powerful magic, buffing us all. And this causes us to deal 3 times as much damage and take half as much damage. So it's a great way to swing the fight in the player's favor, let them feel super powerful, and give their poor harassed healers a little break. So as before, it's the same groups of Mayans that are resurrecting, but instead of having a serious problem with them, now we're able to blow through them without any trouble. But all good things must come to an end. The Hound decides to take things into his own hands once again, and he returns. And with him there comes this powerful, malevolent force from beyond this dimensional rift, focusing down on the Varangian. And his health is also dropping at this point, so if we can't finish this encounter quickly enough, we'll lose the buff that the Varangian is currently giving us, and that'll be a big punishment. So what we're seeing right here, the Hound of the Nameless Days is focusing powerful Mayan magic on the Mayans themselves. And he's turning them all into bombs. And if we get too close to them, then we'll get knocked back and dealt a large amount of damage. We can kill them at range, but they will still explode. So we have to be really careful right now. This is a really tense and threatening part of this encounter. So at last, we're victorious. We've slain the Hound. Players at this point will be able to speak with the Varangian a little bit, find out a little bit more about what he's been doing here, and he will actually be able to awaken players from the trance they've been in. We're not going to spoil that for you right now, so instead we'll take a look down into the pit here. Take a look at this fantastic vista. This is actually a scene that we've seen before in the game, and it serves to tie a number of elements that are sort of spread out all together with one thread. And that's the Darkness War.
Thank you, Steven.